Hello everyone, my name is Joanny and welcome to Love Qualified and Happy New Year! Whoop whoop! So I've been wanting to do kind of like a what God has taught me in 2018 video for the past 3-4 days now, and I just haven't had the time to sit down and record a video. So here I am. God has finally provided and made a way for me to actually sit down and make this video. So I am back in London and I just got back from placement. Yep, today is the 2nd of January and we started the second term of PA school already. So I literally just got back from placement. It's 6:30 p.m. right now, and I thought, you know what, I need to make this video because we're already in the second day of the new year 2019, and I just thought it'd be a really good thing to have a recap of the year 2018 and just to share with you what God taught me, what I went through, and how that has strengthened my journey. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to know more, just keep watching. So when I started out the year 2018 in January, I was working on my dissertation. So I started writing my 5,000 word dissertation, which was due at the end of February. And when I come back in January, if you're watching my biomedical science student vlogs, you would have seen that I was working on writing my dissertation and doing labs and all of that stuff. I'm going to leave that the vlogs down below if you want to watch that. But it was a really stressful time for me because, you know, just trying to put the dissertation together and get everything right and submitting the first draft and, you know, going over it and stuff. And it was such a stressful time for me. But I learned a lot about God's strength, and I learned to be able to lean on God more. And I learned that I feel like one thing that God taught me throughout the academic year, really throughout my third year, especially when I felt like I was getting overwhelmed with work, is that it's okay for me to be weak because He is my strength. And I think that's one of the key things that I learned in that January-February time, that in my weakness His power shines best. And so I just had to learn to lean on God every time I felt overwhelmed, because, you know, He's my strength. And at the end of the day, I can't go through life without Him strengthening me. So that's the key thing that I learned in January and February. And also in February, I preached in church for the very first time. So like the very first time I actually preached on a Sunday service, and, you know, and I did Bible studies as well, like for the first time. And it was a very big step of faith for me, because even though I've been used to doing little talks here and there with not many people, this was the first time where my spiritual mentor actually pushed me, and he was like, you know what, you can do this. I feel like you're ready. I feel like you've got the word in you. You need to go out there and preach and, you know, speak the word. And I'm so glad that I took that leap of faith and I did that, because it was so amazing. I learned so much about God, about myself, and it was so good to see that what God had taught me, I could use that to encourage other people. So that was really, really good for me. And then moving on to March and April time, I think that was when I was kind of like coming to the end of my semester, and I started preparing for my exams. And so I'm gonna leave all the vlogs down below that I referenced to. So when I was preparing for my exams, it was a really stressful time for me as well, because those were my final exams of my degree, and my final year, third year, was 70% of my whole degree. So I could not fail. I could not afford to fail. I had goals that I set for myself. I wanted to get a first in the end, which was my personal goal. So I wanted to work hard for it, but there were so many times when I felt discouraged. And but God taught me that I needed to learn to trust in Him. And that was the biggest thing that I learned during, you know, March and April time. I think God taught me a lot about just putting my trust in Him and doing my best, because there were some times when I would stay in the library and I'll study and I'll feel so weak, and I'll be like, God, I can't do this anymore. I can't keep going. But God taught me so much, and He was like, Joan, you need to trust me. Do your best and leave the rest in my hands. Like, you just need to trust me all the way through till the end. And I'm so glad that I learned that because it put me at peace when I was going through my exam season, and just trusting that, you know what, I'm just gonna do the best I can. God is gonna take me through till the end. Moving on to about May and June time. I think in May, I think I was focused more on trying to get my Viva out of the way. Again, all my biomedical science student vlogs, if you haven't watched them, you should watch them, because you would see my struggle of how I was preparing for my Viva. If you don't know what a Viva is, it's basically a 20-minute grilling session where you have two examiners just grill you on your dissertation. They can just pick a random page in your dissertation and ask you a question about it. And I had to answer questions for 20 minutes, and I was terrified, guys, so terrified that, you know, it was gonna go wrong, and then they were gonna say, oh, I didn't write my dissertation and stuff like that. But yeah, during that May time, that was what I was preparing for. And when June came, that's when I got my PA school interview. So just looking back at it, I just think about, you know, like that, it seemed like that was 2 weeks ago or like a month ago, but that was actually all the way back in June, like over 6 months ago, when I had my PA school interview. I had my PA school interview on the 8th of June, and I remember that was a very big test of faith for me. It was a risky decision, because if you've seen my how I got into PA school video, you would see that I only applied to St. George's, so the university I'm at the moment, because this is where I did my undergrad. And even though my mum was telling me, you know, you need to apply to other unis, you can't put all your eggs in one basket, I told mum, I was like, Mum, I'm going to apply only to St. George's. And guess what? You know, in that same month of June, I got my offer. Like less than a week later, I got my offer into PA school. And also I got my results as well for my final year of biomedical science, and I got a first overall, and I even got a prize as well for one of the physiology prizes. And you know, God taught me a lot about surrendering my will to just surrendering really to his sovereign will. And he gave me a lot of peace. He taught me about peace. And when I had all my anxieties about my interview and my Viva, and there's a song that I really like by Hillsong, Young and Free. It's called Peace. Guys, listen to that song. And so the song is so calming. Like, I really love the words of that song. And it says, I found peace beyond all understanding. Let it flow in my when my mind's not at ease, or something like that. And then all anxieties will bow down before Jesus, the King of Peace. So, you know, that's just, I just love those words. I love those lyrics. I love listening to that song. And God taught me a lot that he is my peace. And all I need to do is trust him, and he will give me peace. And that's how he gave me peace throughout that storm. Because thinking about my past experiences with interviews and how I had failed so many times before, God had to bring me to a place where I had to completely surrender and trust him that he was going to help me get into PA school. And that is one of my biggest testimonies of 2018, is this breakthrough in my career choice and everything. So God helped me so much to trust him in terms of uncertainty. So I really love that period. And yeah, and then in July I had my biggest test of faith of 2018. Guys, I feel like this is not going to be something that I'm going to mention in this video. I'm going to mention it in a later video at some point, by God's grace. But that was my biggest trial of 2018, and the one lesson that I learned, which shook me to the core, which has totally helped me draw closer to God and has really helped my faith walk, is that God is sovereign and that he's always under control. And you know, that was what that trial taught me. And even though it was a really big storm, guys, it's the biggest, massive, the biggest storm ever that I've ever like experienced in my life. It was so big, and I was shook. Like, I was actually shooketh. And I don't know, it was, yeah, it actually shook me. But God was faithful. God is still faithful, and he's still good. And he just showed me that he is sovereign, and he is good, and he's gracious, and he's merciful. And yeah, I graduated as well in that same month of July. I graduated, and the way that testimony turned out, guys, like, you won't even believe it. But like I said, I'll share it at a later date. And then when August came, my first book was published. This book called Outpourings of a Beloved Heart. It is a 30-day poetry devotional all about God's love. And I had been writing this book since April 2017, and I finally published it on the 1st of August 2018. So it's available on Amazon, Amazon UK, Amazon US, and you can get it, you can get a copy. It has original poems that I wrote myself, and then for each day, so it's 30 days like I said, each day has a poem written by myself, like a poem like this, and then you've got like a scripture, and then you've got reflections, and then you've got a prayer and an affirmation at the end, and you've got some really cute pictures as well. They're like this one which says "You're bigger than everything," and there's 30 days of that. And this is a massive testimony, guys. Like, it took me hours and hours and hours and hours and end to write this book, and to see that God was actually so faithful that he brought me till the end is something that's so speechless. Like, every time I pick up this book and I look at it and I see my name on it, and I was just like, when did this happen? It just feels so surreal. But that's how faithful God is that when he gives you a vision and he puts it in your heart, he will provide for you so that he will see you through it till the end. That's the kind of God he is. Like, he does not leave you hanging. He takes you, if he puts a desire in your heart, he will provide, he will make a way for you. And that is my huge testimony for this book. So check it out, guys, if you haven't gotten a copy already, and I hope that it blesses you if you decide to buy it. And finally, from September all the way to December, I finished my first term of PA school. Guys, if you haven't seen the vlogs, I'm gonna leave the link down below, the playlist of the vlogs. But basically, it has been a struggle. Like, honestly, what God taught me in the last few months of 2018 is that he is my rock. God is my rock. Honestly, you know the hymn that goes, "On Christ a solid rock I stand, oh Lord, the ground is sinking sand, oh Lord, the ground is sinking sand." Like, literally, that song was my song from September all the way to December, and even now as I'm continuing second term, because it was crazy. PA school is crazy, like you guys will see if you watch my vlogs. But God has been so faithful, and I have learned to lean on him, because honestly, like, I won't be able to do life without him. Like, if I've just realized, not just realized, I have always known that I cannot do life without God. And that's why, my channel and everything that I do, I just can't separate my faith from my personal life and from everything, because God is such a big part of me. He is the reason why I exist. And so he is my rock and he's my everything. And so I just love him. I love Jesus. I love Jesus, guys. Like, it's just amazing. And yeah, so that's pretty much all the things that God taught me in 2018. So 2018 was my year of surrender. That was my word for 2018 that God deposited in my heart. And like I said, he taught me a lot about his sovereignty, his sovereign will, and all of that stuff, and it was amazing. Now, my word for 2019 is freedom. Guys, I am so excited for what God's gonna do in 2019. Like, you don't know how excited I am. Literally, I am starting my faith and fitness journey, and I'm going to be, talking about my progress. Like, I'm going into 2019. It's the second day of 2019. I'm going into it speaking freedom from complacency, freedom from laziness, freedom from procrastination, freedom from lustful thoughts, freedom from whatever it is that you name it. Like, I have a list. You see my poster over here. It says 2019, my year of freedom, and 2 Corinthians 3:17, which says, "Now the Lord is the Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom." I've written all of things here: freedom from guilt, freedom from shame, freedom from self-doubt, self-hate, self-condemnation. Like, guys, I'm so excited because this year I feel that God is going to do even greater things. That he is that kind of God that he moves and he works miracles in people's lives, and I am so expecting, to see the journey that God is going to take me through this year, and I can't wait, guys, and I hope that you guys are excited too. So I'm so grateful for this channel, like this YouTube channel. Thank you guys so much for following, for your subscriptions, your likes, your comments. Thank you so much. Can you imagine, we started 2018 with just about 500 and something subscribers, and now we are pushing on 1,000. We're currently 960 something as I make this video, and that's crazy to think that this little channel that I started as a whatever kind of thing, it's now almost getting 1,000 subscribers. Like, thank you guys so much, and I hope that by the end of 2019 we will get to 1k. Woo woo. But yeah, thank you guys so much for all your support. Hopefully by the end of this year I will finish my first year of PA school. Hopefully I'm gonna be here till the end of July, but hopefully I'll pass my exams and move on to second year, because that's gonna be a big testimony. I'm hoping to write more poetry, more spoken word, do more videos and share those. There's quite a few that I have to make videos for those and share. I have a few plans in terms of like poetry and writing poems and stuff, but I'll share that with you as the year progresses. And also with my writing as well, you guys may or may not know that I'm writing a novel. So I am an aspiring novelist. So I have written a devotional, which is non-fiction, but I want to, I've been writing a novel as well, and I just want to grow in my writing journey, become a better writer this year, 2019, and potentially share my work and get some feedback and just make my story better. If you want to know more about my writing journey, make sure you watch my writing vlogs, because I share a lot of my writing journey and what I've been doing, and a little bit about my story here and there. So make sure you check that out. But yeah, just a massive thank you guys for everything that you've been doing, for all your support. Thank you so much. I hope that you have a blessed year 2019. I pray that God gives you the divine favor and divine upliftment that you need to fulfill the purpose that he has for you in 2019. And I pray that when your trials come, because they will come, there will be trials, guys. There's no way we're gonna escape it. There will be trials, but I pray that when they come, that they will only draw you closer to God, and that we are going to be victorious and overcomers in Christ, in Jesus' name. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Have a lovely day and God bless.